Okay, start off, it was, first of all, it's great to win. Bottom line, it's great for those kids to get a victory, and I thought we fought hard and we played hard the whole game. We got a long ways to go, and I thought let's first start with the defense. The defense played hard, tackled pretty well. Communication seemed to be pretty good. Got some sacks in the second half. Would have had another pick, but I thought they were unorganized, so I called a timeout, so I guess you can track that one up to me. So I was pleased with the defense. They seemed to be in the moment, and for the amount of youth we had play there, it was impressive. Offensively, we threw the ball. We lost a big one there at the end that we dropped in the end zone. We want to be able to make that play, and trust me, the young man that didn't make the play wants to make it more than anybody else, and he will as we move forward. But we need to stop the unforced errors on offense. You got 4th and inches. We can't convert. If you're going to be a good team, you have to make that, let alone be a great team. And we get in those situations, and we got stopped way too many times approaching the red zone or being in the red zone, having to kick field goals. I was very pleased with Garrett, the way he kicked the ball. 3 field goals was great to see him get the kicks that he needed to be able to do, and he hit them all nice and clean and protected well there. And it looked like we punted the ball pretty well for the most part. So, proud of a lot of kids, the way they played and competed. And we have definitely a long ways to go, but we will enjoy this, and then we'll get ready for a heck of a challenge coming our way against obviously a very talented team.
Gary, how about Seth, his performance in his first college appearance?
Seth, he ran the ball a lot. He made some great throws, and he seemed to be pretty poised for a freshman walking in there. And wasn't many errant throws that he made when he had a chance to be protected. He got the ball down there pretty good, made some tremendous plays with his feet, which is who Seth is. We still have to continue to work with Seth to understand when to take the moment to make the great play or when to get out of bounds. It concerns me. We need to. It's not natural for Seth. He's such a competitor. He wants to make every play be a big play, and you don't want to take that away from him, but you also want to coach him to make sure we do all we can to keep him upright and healthy, if you will. So, but it's hard for a freshman to walk in there and play in your first Division I game, and I thought he handled it pretty dang well.
He told the Pac-12 Network afterward, Gary, that he anticipates there might be some baseball pants hanging in his locker to remind him to slide occasionally and get down.
Yeah,
we might. Conversation you've had it all on the sideline.
We have had that conversation probably last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, about 10 o'clock at night, texting back and forth. And I like to take snapshots in my office of the film and a video of the film, whether it's ball security or an opportunity to get down. And take a coaching moment sometimes when kids are at home in the evening at their house. So we've had that conversation a few times, and it's just a matter of, he just needs to learn and understand that make the plays when they're there and be as. It's a physical game. It's a tough game. It's a game of percentages, I suppose, at some points. But we want to win. We want to keep him there the whole year.
The fact that you stuck with him in the second half.
What's that?
The fact that you stuck with him in the second half. Is that an indication that you might go with him as a starter, or are you going to stick with the 2 quarterback?
Yeah, I think right now we would say after that game and after that performance that Seth is our starter, but we still have got to be in a position to give Marcus reps, and quite frankly, Nick needs to get some reps in practice. I think Nick is handling the side of getting not a bunch of reps in practice, but he's handling it well, and if you will, he's not counting his reps, he's making his reps count, and we'll have to continue to move to do that a little bit now with Marcus as we go through time. But Seth, for a freshman, you got to say he solidified himself into a pretty good spot. He could have had even more numbers if we had just made a couple more plays. And we got a lot of work to do in a lot of different areas, and that all starts with me. So wherever our weaknesses are, it's always on me. It's not on the kids. It's not on the other coaches. So we'll keep working, and so will I to help them get better, and we'll be fine.
Coach, the old line seemed to struggle early but got better as the game went. Did you feel that way?
Yeah, I felt like we were, not getting the surge that we wanted early in the game. That would be a definite thing that I felt on the field. We'll know more when we see the film. I think our backs ran harder in the second half, which was nice to see. We have got to be a team to we've got to have backs that are in a position to be able to break the tackles. When there's a free hitter up there, you have to be able to make somebody miss. You have to be able to run through a tackle. You got to break a tackle. You can't just let those ankle tackles get you down. As we get into league play and as we play next week and we play San Jose down the line, it's going to get much more difficult with to break those tackles, and we need to break some of them. But the offensive line will improve drastically as we continue to move forward, and I think the backs will too. There's a transition still going on in that offense for the offensive line and for those running backs, and it's no matter what we want to say, we can kid ourselves as a staff, but it is way different than playing in the pro-style offense.
You said that it would be important to emphasize that a mistake wouldn't have led to a quarterback switch, but obviously Marcus throws that pick six backed up near his own goal line. Was that just too big of a mistake?
Yeah, I think we're in the spot that the way Seth played in the first half went into a lot of that decision as we went through there. It wasn't really decided that – it was decided we were going to go 2 series and 2 series, and then we're going to play it out. And that's what we did in the first half, played it out. Marcus had an opportunity to get down there in that situation, and in a tight ball game, you have to be able to go into a position to put the young man in that you think is going to best help the football team win. And at that point, it was Seth to put him in there. And so after the, saying we're not going to, we wanted to get 2 series and 2 series, evaluate, go from there. It's kind of what we did, and that's the way it went. It's unfortunate it went that way, but sometimes I guess it is what it is a little bit.
So, Coach, you're saying against Michigan that if Collins goes in and struggles, that you're not going to replace him with McMurray?
I'm not going to say anything at this point. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Seth will start the game, and then we'll see.
Okay.
Marcus will prepare to be ready to play, and I know this. He needs to continue to get reps, and at times he needs to get reps in games. I think it's very valuable for us to do and a smart thing to do at times. And you got to pick your spots, I guess.
What's it like, Coach, to coach against Jay, a guy you know so well, and to actually go against him like that? What was that like today?
I don't know how many guys are on that staff, but I gave a hug at the beginning, but they just kept coming and coming in waves. There was a bunch of them. A couple guys I didn't even know for sure were really there. I should have done a better job at looking at the coaching staff, I guess. But playing against Jay was, I'm glad it's over. I want to be able to support Jay and help him build that program. And it appears after one game that they've made a good jump from a year ago. That's a tough-minded team who plays the right way. Defensively, they gave us some problems with a lot of pressure. You saw some similar defenses tonight play against each other that were pretty aggressive, and they weren't afraid to lock up and say, "Here we come, play man coverage against us. We don't really care if you're in the Pac-12." And they're making strides if those kids are willing to say that in that program, and I think it'll prove itself as the year goes on. They're an improved football team. Proud of Jay.
Gary, the defense held Weber State 0 for 13 third down situations. They had that pick on that big 3rd and 2. Were they at a point with so many new starters at practice where you thought they could turn in a performance like that?
I hope that they could, but that's an amazing stat. For you to hold them into that position, and overall there was only 1 or 2 drives in the game where it felt like we got a little bit off kilter, and I know Kalani felt the same way, just recognizing and pre-snap awareness. But they communicated well, they ran the ball well, they seemed to tackle fairly well on tape as we went through. In fact, I'd say they tackled very well. But that's an amazing stat, and I'm proud of those kids. There was a lot of new faces out there today, and you saw them, and they did a heck of a job game 1.
Gary, you feel like this team is ready for what's coming next week, or is that something you don't know until you get there?
Well, it'll be a huge test. It's going to be. I watched that game very closely against Utah, and I think I have a pretty good feel with Kyle and the staff at Utah and with Kalani of how good of a football team Utah is, and they were very good a year ago, and they have a whole bunch of people returning. And that game basically went right down to the wire. It was a 1-possession game at the end, 17-24, so can go either way. This will be a big test. It'll be a big moment for us. How much can we improve from now until next week? We cannot miss layups. We cannot have unforced errors. Things are going to happen. It's never going to be perfect, but there's way too many of them. It's hard to score. It's hard to get stops. But we're excited for that challenge. I'm excited for those young men to get on that plane on Thursday and get over there and play against a program like Michigan. And I listened to last night at the end of that game, and these kids be able to go play Michigan. I've been there twice. And I had 2 or 3 kids texting me today and last night telling me, "Coach, remember when we went to Michigan? It was a great opportunity. It was a lot of fun." So they'll remember this one forever.